Today, I want to talk about the ingredients that it takes to make muscle. What do you need to do to be able to build muscle? Well, I like to make an analogy of building a house. You need tools, you need hard work, but you also need supplies like wood and drywall and nails and all those things. So what are the ingredients that you need to be able to make your house or build your body? So Jay Vincent talks about you're building muscle out of thin air. So what's muscle made out of? Muscle's made out of protein, amino acids. So we have to get a certain amount of protein in our body, or else all the training, all that hammering away won't build a house. So if you're training super hard, but you're not recovering and you're not eating enough protein, you're not going to be able to have any house in shape. It's not going to form because you don't have enough of what it takes to actually put things together. When you're in the gym, you're hammering, sometimes literally hammering, but you're moving your body and you're putting in the work. Well, if you want that house to show up the next day, you need the tools and you need the supplies, the wood, the drywall, the metal, whatever it is that you're doing to put that framework. That's all the amino acids. That's all the protein that you need to take in. So again, you could do all the hard work that you want, but nothing's going to be there. Nothing's going to be formed to build. So again, you really need to focus on making sure that you get how much protein. I've talked about this yesterday, 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, or if your goal, let's just say, is 200 pounds of being muscular and ripped, you need to have 200 grams of protein every single day. So whatever poundage you want, take me for example, right now, I want to be a little bit heavier. I'm around 165. I want to get to 170, maybe 175. We'll see how things go. But I need to get at least 170 or 175 grams of protein every day. How do I make sure that I get this number every single day and I don't just get to 165? Is I shoot for 180. So I always get just a little bit of surplus, and especially because in regard to my diet, if I'm focusing more on protein, that means I'm gonna have to drop fat and carbs somewhere else. So for me overall, I have to make sure that I get 180. I talked about it yesterday. I get 3 meals with at least 50 grams of protein. So that's 150, 3 meals. And then I get a protein shake of 30 grams of protein. So then I get another 30 for 180. So I'm at least getting that. Sometimes I get even more than that, but I have to make sure I do this consistently because I've got the training stimulus. Because I'm training, because I train hard, I then have to make sure that I'm recovering from that and getting enough of what I need for the building process. Now, what's another ingredient? We talked about it already, but you have to train, but you have to train hard. If I don't get to that level where I get the nail hammered all the way through the wood and it connects the piece of wood, what's gonna happen? It's not gonna be there, right? So again, there has to be enough pressure to break that nail through the wood to go into and then hold on so that the two pieces of wood stick together. Well, this is just like training. You have to get to a certain level of intensity to be able to get the stimulus for your body to say, let's grow. If you don't, if let's just say you go to the gym and you do 10 repetitions of an exercise, but you could have done 20 or you could have done 15, but you only do 10, it's like nailing in and it's not all the way through, right? Here's the block of wood and you're here. It didn't get all the way through. It didn't connect to the other piece of wood or to the wall or whatever it is that you're nailing it to. You didn't break through to make the full connection. Your body might benefit from that anyways. I see people in the gym, they just do their 10 reps and go. Yeah, it's helping you not break down. It's helping you keep yourself at a certain level of your fitness. It's kind of helping you and just keep the status quo. But it's not going to help you grow. That's a new quote for you. It'll help the status quo, but it ain't gonna help you grow. Well, so think about, again, that level of intensity to break through the wood, to break through the other piece of wood to hold on. You've gotta get to that threshold. If you wanna break through all the muscle fibers, you've gotta get to failure. And we've talked about doing this safely. I mentioned Jay Vincent earlier. He just posted a video about training slow. That's how you do that safely. You have to go slow to decrease peak forces to make sure that you're keeping the load on the muscle and not extending over and screwing up with your joints with these fast motions. So you can do it safely. And then thinking about using a spotter or thinking about using a machine or thinking about using pins or something like that to can help you if you can't push the weight up, you don't want to get stuck underneath it. So getting to failure might take some thinking or might, use other pieces of equipment that you're not normally used to, but you want to get used to, again, being as safe as you can so that you can get as close to failure as you want. Because just like not getting that nail all the way through, you've got to get to that threshold point. It's like when you go and you work out, and again, you do your 10 reps. Imagine here's the threshold point. And that's at 15 reps. You're going, and your body's like, oh, thank you. That burned. That was burning, but you stopped right before. That burning sensation is also a signal to your body, hey, we need to keep this reserve of your muscle endurance and your muscle strength for a life and death situation. If you had all the endorphins and all the adrenaline pumping through your body, you wouldn't feel that burn as much. So if you can get yourself in that mindset of life and death, I mentioned this and I talked about this in Training Insane, one of my videos with Blood and Guts from Dorian Yates and Tom Platz saying, kill me. You've got to get to that level because it burns, but it's not a life or death situation. And your body's like, okay, we're at that. There's hot girls. There's my buddies. We're hanging out. We're doing our thing. You got to get nuts if you really want to get to that level. And I know it sounds, crazy, but just think about that nail analogy. 2 pieces of wood, it's got to get all the way through. So what's that threshold? If it's 15 repetitions and I'm only doing 10, I'm getting here and I'm going down. Your body doesn't open the floodgates to say, grow, 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 because when it hits that threshold, when it's threatening the survival of your body, when you have a weight on you and you're pushing it up and it's threatening that tissue, it won't respond unless if you take it to that level of threshold. When it goes red lights, all right, hey, we got to this level. What ends up happening? It goes, grow. Hey, let's build. Hey, that was life-threatening. That was life-threatening because it was so challenging. So now your body's going to grow. So hammer that nail all the way through by training super intensely. This should be the main focus of your program is when you do your exercise. That's why like people who do 4 sets, 3 sets, 2 sets, doesn't matter. Those last repetitions on your last set are the most important repetitions. When you are burning and you want to stop, you have to try to keep going and going and going. And you can do that safely. Watch some of my other videos about Training Insane or training, go to Jay Vincent, and he's got tons of resources. He's my go-to guy when it comes to these things because he's done it all, right? He's been doing this type of training for, a decade or more. I've only started doing this for the past 3 or 4 years. So go to the experts and really get his programs. I don't have any programs for you, but there's a way to do it safely. And again, it takes the effort, but that's going to be on you. When you want to stop, you got to keep going. Again, doing it safely, but you have to continue to push so that we can get through all the muscle fibers so that you can get that stimulation of, hey, we need to grow. Your body needs to be told you need to grow. So how does it do that? Got to get to that threshold point. The other ingredients that you need to build that house, to build your body, is recovery, sleep. Okay, that's another component that goes along with your protein. If you're not getting enough sleep, your body isn't going to get the hormone and muscle recovery. It's not going to refresh the system. Think about, if you do any websites, right? What do you need to do, right? Or if when I post this video, what do I need to do? I got to go to my page and I got to refresh it so that I see the video that comes up, or I have to, pull the thing down so it does the little refresh symbol where it loads, right? Well, that's like sleeping. It's got to refresh, it's got to reset. And so if you're not getting enough, right, you're not getting enough. You're not going to be able to recover and refresh the system to be able to do all of what it needs to do with those hormones from the stimulation of the workout. So you need the protein, you need the rest, you need the recovery, you need to make sure that you're taking enough time off in between sessions, because if I hammer those muscles and I get to that threshold point, then what do I need to do? I have to then recover to where I can then do that level of intensity again. So some people, that's 3 days. Some people that's 4 days, some people that's 10 days. Whatever it is for you, you have to find your ingredient, right? Your time, how long do you bake in the oven, right? Those types of things. You have to think about it in a way that's specific to you. And for me right now, it's twice a week. I love my workouts twice a week. I can get energized for them. I can do it. I can go all out. I'm making improvements every single workout that I do. So I know that I'm able to recover because I can make those improvements. Those are all the signs that you need. So main ingredients, you got to train hard. You got to hammer away. You got to get that hammer to slice that nail through the wood, and it's got to connect to the other side so that you can build your framework. How do we build? What's the wood? What's the drywall? That's the protein. 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight, maybe shoot over that a little bit. Look at my other video about protein absorption if you need more tips with that on understanding how much you can handle in one sitting. That's something that will help you, again, absorb it so that you can form it into your body. And then sleep. Sleep is so important. Making sure that you're getting enough rest days in between your workouts is another component. But again, making sure that you're getting that full rest, which is sleep. You're going to get into that anabolic window. You're going to refresh the system so that your hormones can then do their job to recover from that stimulus of the exercise. So those are your ingredients to build muscle. You got to have all of them if you want to maximize. If you really want to get as many gains as you can, you've got to make sure that you're doing those things. So that's your ingredient list. Get out there, train hard, get your protein, get your rest, and get your sleep, and you'll see the results come not before too long. Thanks.